Good morning, good morning. This is Del K. Brereton, and this is The Real Spiel. I couldn't do a spiel last night. I basically slept on my tongue yesterday. And although I did a spiel yesterday morning, the pain, the excruciating pain of the grinding that took place of my tongue did not allow me to even have the ability to speak yesterday evening. As you can see, I'm still strained a little bit. It's very bad. Very bad. I might need a mouth guard. But I wanted to get on today because the spiel must continue. And a week from yesterday, is going to be the birthday of the king. So I wanted to have this series that I'm beginning here because September is my Black history because it's the history of me. So I want to call this the survival of a slave. I could use many, but I'm going to use a couple of concepts. Gentleman by the name, I think his name is Benjamin Box Brown. I think they call him Benjamin Box Brown. And the story of Benjamin Box Brown is that he literally was a contortionist of survival. A contortionist of survival. He created or built a box big enough to transport himself north of the Mason-Dixie line from slavery to freedom. He mailed himself with the help potentially of abolitionists, but he mailed himself to freedom. If I can use that concept this morning, and good morning to you, Michelle Clark. Grace and peace to you. Baruch Hashem. To all the Cyclopses and to all, which are my members, by the way, we refer to them as Cyclopses, and I can explain why. Not today because my mouth hurts. But to all those in Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbean, Ghana, America, and Canada. Baruch Hashem. If I can use that story as a typology of the survival of a people, everyone couldn't do what Benjamin Box Brown did. And I really hope I got his first name right. Everyone couldn't mail themselves free. Everyone couldn't deliver themselves to freedom. Bob Marley had a song, and the lyric went, "Emancipate yourself from mental slavery." Emancipation, or if Bob really understood the word, I guess more perfectly, is nothing that you do unto yourself. Emancipation is what somebody gives you. They emancipate you. Even a minor that's trying to emancipate themselves from their parents still needs a judge to legally do it for them. So you can't do it on your own. But revolution, that's something you do on your own. And there's many types of revolution. But effectively, there's a revolution of deliverance from one state to another state. And this is what Benjamin Box Brown represents for me, the deliverance of yourself from slavery to freedom. Ladies and gentlemen, along the way, we have lost many brilliant, bright, talented Africans to not just slavery, but the machinery of slavery that still exists today. Some have risen to great prowess within the context of remaining a slave. They still stayed broken, undelivered, even though they were successful. Some have delivered their mind to realize what they are and who they represent. And what we must do as a people is we must realize the PTSD, the corporate macro PTSD that we all suffer from. Whether it be from an absenteeism of a true identity, where we have decided that we are what our slave master, our colonizer has said we are, and we have adjusted to that reality and gotten comfortable. Even the house Negro is part of our family. He just has PTSD in a more severe way. He has it in respect to his identity. The field Negro, he could not keep his wife. He was a breeder most times, and so was she. Therefore, her family was constructed of men from multiple regions. Multiple men would have maybe inseminated her. Her children would have been from multiple men. Also, even if she only had a child for one man, she placed very little value on that man, because to her, he's simply a breeder. The children placed very little value on that man, because to them, he was a daddy of optionality and opportunity. The man placed little value on his family because he was conditioned to plant seeds, different women, and move on. Do you hear what I'm saying? This is a condition that we still have today in our community. And our community is known for. Any black man who's single, past the age of 30, upon meeting a woman of any race, even his own, one of the first questions is, how many children do you have? How many baby mothers? Because the expectation is that we are serial breeders. We are serial breeders is the expectation. And the culture has become comfortable knowing that the black man in front of you has potentially sired multiple families before he has met you. And you, black women and other women, are comfortable with that reality now because it's part of the culture. And as you grow a love and desire and longing for a black man in your life, you have become comfortable with the knowledge that that black man potentially has kids from multiple women before you. Some women have said, no, I don't want that. I don't want a man who's had children with other women. I don't have children with anyone else, and I want to start from scratch. And we have criticized that woman because she has delivered herself from mental slavery. And we feel judged, brothers who have that reality, brothers as myself. We feel judged because how dare she expect me to have a standard that outmeasures the standard of my colonization. And the list goes on of the things that are earmarks of a slave. That's why I call this the survival of a slave. When you look down the time charts of history using any metric, and I've gotten this from a fantastic video sent to me by Dr. Israel this morning, the Hebrew scholar, teacher of Hebrew, both modern and biblical, my linguistic mentor. Say that 3 times with your tongue jacked up like mine. My linguistic mentor, who we are still looking to teach a generation the Afro-Semitic language of original Hebrew. But in the video he sent me, the speaker said of any scientific method, the African American, the African Caribbean, the African South American, the West African in the diaspora should not exist by any scientific method. They should not exist. If you utilize biology, they should not exist anymore. We should be extinct. If you utilize economics, the value of supply and demand, our demand dying off, we should have eliminated our supply. If you use psychology, we should not even know who we are. We should not have the capacity to reclaim our languages, our cultures, our history. The things that were hidden from us about ourselves, we should never know, because they were not intent for us to ever know. The capacity to thrive in a foreign country, in a foreign land, it's impossible. To rise to the highest levels in a colonizer's world, impossible. To reclaim a God who is our God, Yahweh, impossible. To identify that the people who have been whitewashed in our history, people that look like us, just to realize that those people indeed were black people. That knowledge that was never for us to rediscover. There was no photographs to see them. Impossible. But yet, here we are. Here we are speaking a stranger's tongue, but understanding that we are yet strangers in a foreign land. In fact, we have outdone our ancestors because we can still sing the Lord's song in a strange land. By the rivers of Babylon, where we currently sit down. Yea, yea, we wept as we remembered Zion. But we remember it still. The survival of a slave. So now when you package your mind with the understanding that even though some of us are awake, some of us are still asleep. And it's not the job of the woke to chastise or persecute the sleeping, but to nudge them and to wake them up. But this is something that I want to put on the table that we have not done. If a sleeping man is completing the tasks of an awoke man, therefore he is reciting prophecy. Thus saith the Lord, and he is in a daze, asleep, but out of his mouth is coming truth. I dare say don't wake him up. Leave him there. Because God is using him even though he is asleep. Can I bring up Kamala Harris? Some of us have criticized her allegiance to her race, the capacity for her to see the royal history on the black side of her family, where she is more identified with the Indian side, where she has not embraced her African roots. Yet, she is a senator. Yet, she's a vice president. And yet, she could potentially be the next president and the first black woman to be the president of the United States. And you want to add sleeping Kamala, who is prophesying God's greatness of who a people can be. You want to ask her to wake up, leave her asleep. Leave her asleep and protect her. Leave her asleep and write down the things that come out of her mouth. Leave her asleep and let destiny do its thing. But what is she going to do for black people? You cry out. Haven't you seen that if Kamala herself has made a decision to do nothing special for black people, as some have said, she has said, then God has superimposed his decision on Kamala's decision. I want to say that again. If Kamala herself has made up her mind to not move the needle forward for black people, God has taken residence in the life of that black woman and has said that I will use you as a vehicle. I will use you as a symbol so that black people all over the world can see that I've never left you nor forsaken you. That I can pick you up and I can cause you to be great even when you don't recognize who I am. Even though you don't recognize who you are, I can still use you. Don't wake her up. Circle around her. Stand on guard. Because what you see and think that she meant for evil, God meant it for good. Have you not heard the story of Joseph's brothers, who threw him into slavery? They desired to kill him. They desired to cause his dreams to cease. They said, here comes the dreamer. This is him. Let's slay him. Let's throw him in a pit. Let's say that some beast has eaten him. They made a plan to kill him. But there was one brother, the oldest one, Reuben. And Reuben said, just put him in the pit, but don't kill him. Because Reuben had a plan. Reuben's plan was to allow the murderous mindsets of the brothers, his brothers, my brothers, to pass over Joseph and to, the Bible says, return him to the Father again. Ladies and gentlemen, never kill the dreamers that are in the confederacy of your brotherhood. You might not like them, but God gave them the dream. You might think they don't represent your interests, but I dare say to you, they do. And I'm just a Reuben who's trying to let you know that the Father has use of what he has added onto Kamala. Joseph means Yahweh has added. If you don't know the story, let me tell you the rest of the story. Once they threw him into the pit and didn't kill him, another group of people came, took him out the pit, and they sold him to slavery into Egypt. Once they sold him to slavery in Egypt, he was working in a man's house, a general's house. The woman the general was married to liked the boy, tried to sleep with him. He refused, but she kept a piece of his clothing and claimed he raped her. Does that not sound like us? A wicked criminal justice system, a false accusation, living under a colonizer's roof, causing that colonizer's property to benefit. Joseph was taking care of all the man's household, sold into slavery, forced to work, working good. And that woman wanted that black man and couldn't have him. So she lied on him, sent him to prison. Now he was rejected by his brothers, enslaved, lied on, now put into jail. But the dreamer never stopped dreaming. The gifts kept working. And I'll fast forward the story, but one day the king, the Pharaoh, had a dream he could not understand. And somebody said there's a man in prison by the name of Joseph, and he has the power of God to answer and to discern dreams. And they got old Joseph out of that jail cell after 14 years in jail. 14 years he stayed in jail. It wasn't quick. It was 14 years. They put old Joseph in some nice clothes and brought him before the king, and the king told him the dream. And Joseph said, your dream is this, that God has said there's about to be 7 years of great prosperity in Egypt. And those are going to be followed by 7 years of famine. And, oh king, nothing's going to survive those second 7 years. So if you don't prepare in the first 7 years for the famine of the second 7 years, all will be lost. You got to find a man who has the ability to put all this together. And the king said, there doesn't seem to be any other man wiser than you. You will be second in charge in Egypt. Second in charge. No one shall say anything to you but me. What does that sound like? It wasn't by Joseph's own hand. It was by the gifts that are inside of Joseph. The survival of a slave. And when the brothers came in the second portion of those 7 years, everybody had to come to Egypt for food. Everybody sold their land for food. And those brothers came looking for food. Joseph showed himself, eventually revealed himself to the brothers. They were afraid, thought he would kill them. And he said just what I said. What you meant for evil, God meant for good, to save many alive. Do not underestimate what Kamala has been sent to do, because she shouldn't be there. Barak shouldn't have been there. And Kamala shouldn't be there neither. And if you don't understand that she is a representative of the greatness of a people, then you've missed the message. You missed the lesson. Yeah. The survival of a slave. Wow. Absolutely incredible. I want to give you some context before I let you go. Imagine a Palestinian being lifted up by God, that they became the president or prime minister of Israel. Huh? Imagine some little boy, and even more so, a little girl in Gaza whose house was bombed, who had to flee. In the next 20 years rises up. Next 30 years. Next 200 years rises up to be the prime minister of Israel, or a little girl, a little boy's ancestor who went through Gaza this last year and this year, and their descendants become the head of Israel, not displacing the Israeli, but the Israeli saying, we want them to lead us. You say that would be impossible. You'll say that could never happen. Why would an Israeli let a Palestinian be the prime minister of Israel? That could never happen. That's the improbability of a black woman becoming the president of the United States of America. That's the miracle of it. And I say to you, even greater than that. She claims her father's people were not slaves. She's a damn fool. She does. She claimed, if she claimed that, as you said, brother, we know better. Again, this is not about Kamala. This is about you. It's about me. It's about our people. It's about what God is doing from the mountaintop, not what Kamala is doing from the valley. This is a moment where history is telling you something. Don't be on the wrong side of history. I've said it all the time. Do not be on the wrong side of history. And many of you are saying, well, you know, I'm not going to just simply vote for somebody because she's black. Wow. 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 We're talking to black people now. I'm not going to just vote for somebody because they're black. Like I said, not everyone has the emotional fortitude of Benjamin Box Brown. Some of you can't deliver yourself. Some of you can't. That movie that Jamie Foxx made, The Django. I don't know if you saw it, but for those who saw it, when you watched that movie, which was about a slave being freed, wanting to go get his wife back, being taught how to be free, reclaiming it, going back to that old plantation and blowing that thing up. When you saw that movie, I want to know what was in your mind. Were you thinking, this is just fiction? This couldn't happen? Or were you sitting there thinking, that's me? It's one of the two. And the answer to that question will tell you who you are. Did you see yourself as the Django? Or did you just say, yeah, but I really could never happen? That will show you who you are. And there's no shade for either. Jesse Owens was a fast black man. He was a fast black man. There's been plenty of fast black men, as we know. But at the time, Jesse Owens was the fastest black man in the world. And Jesse wasn't being treated right in his own doggone country. Jesse was put on that Olympic team. And Jesse was flown out there to Berlin. And Jesse was used as a political tool of white America to teach Hitler that anything wearing the Star-Spangled Banner was better than him. And for one shining moment, the white man forgot that Jesse was a black man running in the Star-Spangled Banner's imagery. But we never forgot. We never forgot. And I want you to not forget either. Oh boy. This guy's got his vehicle in reverse. And the guy behind him is terrified that, oh, there he goes. Backing that thing up on people. Anyway, never forget that sometimes you're a symbol. Sometimes you're a symbol. And it wasn't about going over there to Berlin and getting a few medals. Jesse Owens was a symbol of black greatness, not American greatness. But let me show you something else. Little white boys and girls that watched Jesse run, those became the future of America. Those little white boys and girls, they saw a black man running for America. They saw a black man making their nation proud. And they were proud too. He's a symbol. I want you to understand that you're a symbol. I want you to understand that every black person that God lifts up out of nothing and puts them in positions of power, they're symbols. They are symbols that we are a great people. And no matter what you tried, no matter what you attempted, we cannot be extinguished. We cannot be extinguished by taking away our language. We cannot be extinguished by declaring that we have that is illegal to to literize a slave. Remember, you couldn't educate a slave. That was illegal. But regardless, we became scientists. We didn't just learn to read. Kunta Kinte said, after they cut off his foot, they said, "Don't worry, Kunta. We're going to give you a cane. You're going to be able to walk again." He goes, "Walk. I'm going to run." We should not have any Benjamin Bannekers. We shouldn't have any Madam C.J. Walkers. Okay? We shouldn't have Carvers. Absolutely. We shouldn't have all of these individuals who were geniuses, slaves that were genius level. Shouldn't exist. Understand that you are a holy people. And if you were not, you would be gone. You would be extinct. They would have you in books. Just like that Aboriginal Australian is extinct. Go try to find them folks. Go try to find those authentic Aboriginals in Australia. White folks have taken their place and said that they are the Aboriginals. It's hard to find any true black Aboriginals in Australia that look like the original people. Dark, blue, black. Everybody's mixed. Everybody's mixed. So, let me read this and let y'all go. The lady is a Dougla. You're right. The woman is a Dougla. But brother, what is a Dougla? A Dougla is somebody who is mixed with black and Indian. But we understand. In fact, let me change it. What did white people say a black person was? One drop of black blood disqualified them from considering themselves white. Huh? So by their own metrics, she black. By their own metrics, the Indian in India would put she in a lower caste because she's not light enough. She can't pass easy. So yeah, the woman is a Dougla. But what do you call Barack? You call Barack a half-breed or what? You didn't call Barack a half-breed. You call Barack black because he's black. He identifies black. He look black. He act black. He's black. Period. He didn't call his children octoroons. He called his children black. So, even though Kamala is a Dougla, she is a Dougla. But she's a black woman. She has identified herself as such. And even if she hasn't, she is. And don't get me wrong, In America, they call Mexican brown people. I don't know when Mexican become brown, you know. I don't know when Latino became brown people. All it is from Aboriginal South Americans, and from Spanish or Portuguese. When did all you become black? Sorry, brown. The Afro-Latino is still black. Don't make them mash up your color, but anyhow, you put black and brown and you mix it together. Tell me what you get. Tell me what you get. But the Indian in America, North America, in Canada rather, they call themselves brown people. The Indian call themselves brown people because it's true. You go to India, there's so many different castes of Indians, and they are brown. Their complexion is brown, although in anthropological books, the Indian people in anthropology, created in the 19th century by white scientists, said that Indians belong to Caucasoid people. They said that the Indian is a Caucasian, right? Not the Navajo or the Chippewas down there in America. I'm talking about the subcontinent of India, which is a ridiculous context. And it's probably because the Indian wanted to be considered to be a white man. He adopted his mannerisms. He became very British. He drank tea, all kind of thing. But the Indian man was never a Caucasian. Never a Caucasian. Right? Just like the Mediterranean man is not a Caucasian. However, Kamala's black. Leave she there. Taking she. We ain't showing she back. She black. We holding on to that. And we will never forget and never repeat. Absolutely. The part we, the destruction of trafficked enslaved Africans, yes, 1993, will not forget. Yep. Not follow false messengers. Yeah. Can I tell you one story about false messengers and I'll just leave? I'm done. Right after this, I'll finish. Okay? Listen to me. There was a guy in the Bible. His name was Balaam. And Balaam was a mystic prophet, not from Israel. And the king of Moab saw this mass of Israelites, and he said, boy, I need to curse these people. Get me somebody powerful and come and curse these people, because these people are playing in a level I'm not on. I need some spiritual level here. And they went and found Balaam. He brought Balaam to the king. The king said, hey, listen, I ain't going to give you one piece of money. One heap of money. I just need you to go out there and use that power that they say you have and curse these people. Balaam saw that money, said, hey, king, say less. He went out there, got himself organized, and as he opened his mouth, Yahweh himself said, hey, those are my people. Don't you dare curse them. Go back and tell the king you can't. Balaam went back and told the king, not only can I not curse them, those people are blessed. Those people are so blessed. You have no idea. The king said, wait. I tell you I'm going to give you one piece of money to curse them. You come back to tell me they're blessed. Hey, how much money you need to curse them? I'll give you more. Send them back again. Balaam, organizing himself. God came right back to him and said, hey, what did I tell you? Don't you even think about cursing these people. These are my people. They cannot be cursed. He went back, told the king again, hey, listen, I tried, baby. God told me these people are not just blessed. They are blessed to the point where they're going to take over all your stuff too. He said, man, come on now. How much money do you need to go and curse these people? Well, my guy tried to do it one more time. God fed up with him and sent an angel to kill him. So this guy doesn't listen. And as he's riding his donkey, the angel is waiting for him, to the point the donkey starts to turn. Not everybody knows the story, so I say it for the sake of those who don't know it. The donkey's trying to turn. Balaam is beating the donkey to send the donkey in the direction he wants to go. And the donkey turns, speaks to him, says, "Why are you beating me? Have I ever taken you the wrong way?" He said, "I'm beating you because you won't listen." He's having a conversation with his donkey, and I realize, my God, this donkey's talking. Then his eyes are open, and he sees there's an angel waiting to kill him. He says, "Oh, Lord have mercy. I get it. God, I get it." And he goes back to that king, and he lays down a piece of prophecy. You know what that prophecy he laid down is? The prophecy that prophesied the star that we refer to as the Star of David, the star that came at the time of Christ, thousands of years later. Those men in the East, the Magi, you guys call them the wise men. There wasn't 3 of them. There was hundreds of them. They were waiting on this prophecy to be fulfilled. The prophecy from a false messenger that God touched to prophesy the coming of his son. Don't talk to me about a false messenger. A false messenger can be touched by God to give a symbolic message for God's people, because God has created the messenger's mouth, false or true. And so sometimes you are in a time where God is using false messengers to bring truth about you. Adon. So that lady is a co-player, chameleon. No weapons formed against my people will prosper. That's all I'm trying to say to you, brother. That's all I'm trying to say to you. She cleaned her sag and tub to, I don't know, you're going deep. Listen, your patois going deep here, boy. God bless y'all. God bless y'all. And just to be clear, Kamala is a symbol. She's a symbol of the survival of a people. She's a symbol. God is using her to let you know that he has never left nor forsaken, and that he can use the small, the meek, and the confused to confound the powerful. And so I take in the symbol and run, because the alternative is a devil. And don't get confused. If you're asking about a false messenger, if you're asking about an individual that does not represent you, that person is right before you as well. And he cannot be voted for. He cannot be put in a position to do what he is destined to do. But again, I'm just a messenger. God bless you. A symbol of a Jezebel spirit. You know what? God needed Jezebel. God needed Jezebel. Ahab, the king of Israel, was married to Jezebel. And God needed Jezebel. He needed Jezebel to demonstrate who he was. He needed Jezebel so that Elijah could show that Yahweh is God. Baal is not God. So do not underestimate how God can use individuals who you think are unuseful. He used Jezebel. All right? So if Kamala is Jezebel, let she be Jezebel. And let God raise up an Elijah to take care of what Jezebel is come to do. All right? God bless you. Anything you throw at me, boy. I like, what's his name? I like Reggie Jackson, boy. I licking it back over the wall. God bless you. Have a great night. Have a great day. This is Del K. Burgess. This is the Real